You think, hey, come on, how does he get herpes, a sexually transmitted disease, in his face? During the birth process, as his face came through the birth canal, his mother, so to say, injected him. She had sores on the genital area that touched his face. It is not a joke to look at your child every day and to know, I have done this to my child. This baby lived 6 months. He was born without a future.
Syphilis is a corkscrew bacterium that attacks and destroys the organs of the body.
You see the lesion on the lip? These sores are usually not painful. This we call primary syphilis. The sore will go away by itself without treatment. But the disease is not out of his system. He's still infected, he carries the disease, and he can continue to infect girls with whom he sleeps. And then after 12 months, the sores will come back again, and then we call it secondary syphilis. These sores are literally riddled with hundreds or thousands of syphilis germs. If this guy kisses a girl with his tongue in her mouth, he can give her syphilis by kissing her. She's not going to come to you and say to you, you see, I've got sores in my mouth. I'm going to kiss you with sores in my mouth. Secondary syphilis is not always in the tongue. It can be on the genital organs as well. And this is the end. This is a beautiful young girl of 21 years old. Do you understand me, girls? She had a future, a bright future. She's lying on a bed, and this is her grave. She got sores in the genital part, but because she had AIDS, she had no resistance, and it just spread like wildfire. One of the schools I spoke, a guy stood up at the back and he said, yeah, you tell us these things, but they say practice makes perfect. He says, if I can't practice to have sex, how will I know how to have sex when I'm grown up? I said to him, look, you don't have to practice to have sex, it's in your blood. Believe me. You know what you must practice? Practice to control yourself. You know, self-control, young people, is the missing word in our vocabulary.
Nobody talks about self-control. Everybody talks about doing things your way. People steal, people kill others, people abuse because of what? Lack of self-control. I do whatever I want when I think I need it.
We forget that our whole life is full of self-control. If you sit in a hall and a doctor is speaking and he's talking about AIDS and he's talking so long that you can't get to the toilet and you need to go to the toilet, then you exercise self-control. So we accept self-control in many areas of life, but somehow when it comes to sex, we think it's impossible.
Sexual feelings, they are not reflexes. They're desires which you can simply control. We are not animals who are supposed to act on instinct, but we are human beings who have got a rational mind for you to think that, yes, my feelings are saying this, but what is the truth? What are the repercussions of all this?
So what I'm saying to you is, guys, don't sleep around. You don't have to. I was 30 years old when I got married, and I didn't sleep with a single girl before I got married. And I wasn't like a weak little guy, you know, like an old rusted car that had to be panel beated first and oiled. The day when I got married, it worked perfectly. This is my challenge for you.
HPV attacks the skin cells of the genital area, damaging the cell's genetic material, making it cancerous and extremely infectious.
It's one of the most common sexually transmitted diseases. It affects up to 46% of sexually active teenagers. It causes venereal warts, genital cancer, and painful intercourse later in life. You can't even see this is a woman. This is one big cauliflower of a wart. And because she had AIDS underlying, the HPV is much more serious. The treatment for this is to burn it with laser. Then it looks like this. It's very painful though. Please, please don't put your trust in condoms. Medical science shows that condoms fail in 15 to 20% of the cases when people use them to prevent AIDS. If you do skydiving and they tell you that 1 out of 6 parachutes don't open, are you going to jump? Sex with a condom is dangerous sex. That's it.
There was one young man I knew. He looked at me and said, "But doctor, I was condomizing. What happened? Why didn't somebody tell me the truth?"
This guy slept with a girl and he used the condom. And in spite of using the condom, he picked up the disease. This girl slept with a guy who used a condom. And in spite of using the condom, he gave her a little present. You see, this is a game of surprises and presents. Nobody knows what's in the lucky packet and what's going to come out there. And young people, this is the truth. And I want to leave it with you, so that when you make your decisions, you alone are blamed for the choices you are going to make. I don't know whether you've ever seen these videos about the Serengeti, of these huge herds of blue wildebeest who trek once a year from Kenya down to Tanzania. Now, somehow nature works like that, that the cows calf while they're on the move. And then you see them standing in a circle around this cow. And you see her giving birth and this cow falling onto the ground, still covered in its membranes. This calf is struggling to get on his feet. And the rest of the herd is just standing there watching this calf. They're not moving a finger to help it. Within half an hour, that calf must be on his feet and he must be ready to move with the herd. And behind them, you see the jackal and the hyena waiting, because they know if the herd starts moving and this calf cannot walk and he cannot stand on his legs, they're going to get food. This is typical of the situation you are in. When I was your age, to a large extent, abortion was against the law. Pornography was illegal. And so these laws protected us. And these laws have been taken away if you don't make a decision for yourself. And if you don't stand on your own feet and stand for what's right and reject what's wrong and decide what lifestyle you're going to live and what lifestyle you're not going to live, nobody's going to do it for you. And you are going to be the victims of the jackals and the hyenas of our society. I'm also here for those who have lost their virginity, because it's not too late. Maybe you can turn around today and say, well, I've made the mistake, but I'm learning from my mistake. From today, I'm stopping with it. And if you stop today, you save your life. Stand up. Be man enough to stand up. I did it. You can do it as well. You don't have to be embarrassed or ashamed. Make it clear what you stand for. You'll never be sorry about it. I guarantee you. Thank you.
The facts have been laid before you, and you've seen the consequences of casual sex. There is no cure for HIV. STIs are just as horrifying. It simply is not worth it. Understanding the risks and dangers, you are now able to decide, what lifestyle are you gonna choose? I encourage you to choose abstinence until marriage, because I believe it's the only way you'll never put yourself at risk.